Prophet Muhammad left no male heirs, and this posed a special problem for his community. How do we establish a form of government that will carry on his mission and carry on his values? And what they came up with was this thing called the Caliphate. The first caliph was the Prophet's very, very close companion, a man named Abu Bakr. And over the centuries, the role of the caliph was taken on by a series of famous dynasties. The first of these dynasties were the Umayyads, who are distinguished for having been the first and also the only Syrian dynasty. Their capital was in Damascus. Their successors were the very famous Abbasids, whose capital was in Baghdad, and who ushered in the so-called Golden Age of Islam. And essentially, the word caliph in Arabic, khalifa, means he who stands behind, he who rules in replacement of. And there's a major debate in the early Islamic period over precisely who the caliph rules in the place of. Does he rule in the place of the Prophet Muhammad, or does he rule in the place of God himself? Is he the vicar of God? Most people believe that the caliphate was essentially disbanded at the beginning of the 20th century with the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. Ataturk, the founder of the modern state of Turkey, effectively dissolves the caliphate when he dissolves the power of the sultan. This happens in the 1920s. And ever since then, the caliphate has been something that Muslims worldwide, or certain Muslim groups worldwide, have longed to reestablish as a form of Islamic government that, as I said, is authentic, that is true to the traditions and the desires of the Prophet and the early community, and furthermore is just. So the appeal of the caliphate also rests on the perceived contrast between this ideal, rather ancient institution and the various despotic governments that control many parts of the contemporary Middle East. And so this is the historical backdrop to the rise of ISIS and the appeal and the enduring message of reestablishing the caliphate. And so what has happened in the case of ISIS is that they have not merely appealed to the powerful and resonant image of the caliphate, but they've gone about reestablishing it. And in this respect, they are much, much more extreme than groups like Al-Qaeda, from whom they spring and whom they share much ideology. Al-Qaeda, for all its desire to rhetorical pretension to reestablish a caliphate, never really was interested in grabbing territory or creating a territorial caliphate. So that ISIS has gone the next step and done this makes them extremely interesting, but also is true evidence of their extremism.